class. If you don't know my name is Pierce Albert. And the topic that I've been researching and studying all semester is the problems with law enforcement. And that I believe both citizens and cops need to come together to forward progression in the right direction for law enforcement. Now, I started this topic wanting to really bash cops. So I had to ask myself a couple of questions. I had to take a step back, ask myself a couple of questions. The question that really stuck out to me is, what would I do if I was a police commissioner and I had to hire cops? So I thought about it. What does it take to be a cop? And three things came to mind: morals, communication, and training. I think a cop needs to have good morals. I want to know where they come from, how they were raised. What do they believe on certain topics, certain issues in this world? Communication is a huge one. I probably wouldn't be standing here talking about this right now if cops have had better communication with not only other cops, but citizens in the past and now. And training. I want my cops to approach any situation with the confidence that they are well trained, and at the end of the day, they know that they're going to go home safely. That's all I would want for my cops. So I'm going to put the cop thing to the side. Let's talk about citizens. You may be asking, well, where can we start as citizens to move forward with law enforcement? The best example that I found, citizen academies. Citizen academies give citizens and cops the dialogue that they don't usually have. You get an opportunity to look at how they train with guns. You get the opportunity to look at how they do physical training. And you may even get the opportunity to go on a ride-along. You know, you get to see what cops go through on a day-to-day basis on a patrol. This will only help us get a better understanding of what they go through. And if we decide to not do this, or if we decide to not want to move forward at all, and these instances keep happening, all we're going to get essentially is a Band-Aid. Now, I talked about cops. I talked about citizens. Obviously, it's going to take us two to come together. But I want to issue a challenge. I want to issue a challenge to our new leader, the presidential level. I've always been a firm believer of attitude reflects leadership. If anyone's ever seen the movie Remember the Titans, that's where we learned that from. Attitude reflects leadership. And that has really shown on both sides. Attitude has definitely reflected on leadership with cops and citizens. So I want to change the culture with that. So I challenge our new president to help us out with that. Again, I had to put aside my biases when doing this topic. And I had to tell myself, I had to keep telling myself, not all cops are bad. Not all cops are bad. And I would keep going back and forth with that. Not all cops are bad. But they have badges and guns. I don't. I don't walk around campus with a badge and a gun. To me, a badge signifies the power that they have over us. And then when we decide to not initially listen to that badge, the gun is a threat. At least that's how I look at it. They need to stop using it as power and threat, and we need to stop looking at it as power and threat. It goes both ways. But I don't want cops to go unrecognized. African American cop by the name of David Hughes, based in Virginia, tried to change the culture within his own police department. And he was laughed at and mocked by his white colleagues. To me, this is a prime example of you get out what you put in. Now, initially, he didn't get out what he put in, but it got talked about. People know this story, so he got out something that he put in. And in turn, so did his white colleagues that mocked him and were making jokes about what he was doing. Hopefully, they got out at least national embarrassment. There's no room for that. There's no room to mock people who are trying to forward law enforcement, trying to change the culture. This culture does need changing too. In closing, we are all responsible for change in this topic. We are all responsible. I'm asking for help on the presidential level, but we are all responsible for change in law enforcement. I don't want to believe that cops are the bad guys all the time. I'm sick of that. And I hope you are too. Thank you for your time.